Warning: the following video contains content that may not be suitable for all audiences. What you're about to hear and see in this film, some may find disturbing, disrespectful, and/or blasphemous. The use of profanity and derogatory verbal imagery will be used in segments of this video to describe personal experiences, hardships, and opinions. Viewer discretion is advised. In this video, I will be going over everything I liked and disliked about Half-Life 1, Blue Shift, and Opposing Forces, in that order.
Gordon Freeman in the flesh.
This intro is new to me. I'm so accustomed and used to Left 4 Dead's intro. It kind of takes me back to the date where this game was being released. Flashlight. There's no leading light beam for the flashlight that makes the flashlight feel realistic or useful. It's not really a big deal. It's just that the flashlight is not really useful in the game. In the tutorial, I got locked out when I was backtracking the swimming area to rehear some audio. I had to restart the whole tutorial. Some audio can be a bit loud and poor in quality, like charging the HEV suit, or shooting a gun, or an audio playing from someone talking. The audio is dated, and it shows in the game.
Well, so much for the government. Their idea of containment is to kill everyone associated with the project. Judging from the suit, I'd say you were part of what went wrong.
There's a slight input delay where you lift your finger off the key and the input takes a few seconds to register before stopping. When walking, you want to stop, but it takes a microsecond before the character comes to a complete stop. Having this kind of like glide mechanic, like the character takes one more step before coming to a stop. It's kind of annoying. So your player kind of glides a little bit by default, making it kind of hard to traverse some of the jump quests in the game. Having to wait for fire doors to reopen, that wastes a lot of time. Trying to hit baby aliens with a crowbar is hard and I miss all the time. Random deaths from explosions, barrels and boxes. Airplane dropping bombs. There's no animation for the airplane bombs and it's kind of like instantly die. Falling from ladders is your worst enemy. The ladders in this game, if you're colliding with it, you're colliding with it. If you're not colliding with it, you're dead. That simple, man. The fall damage in this game is unreal, and the worst enemy is probably the ladders, not gonna lie. The ladders and the fall damage. Loading zones and them happening in the middle of combat. There are a lot of loading zones in this game where as you're fighting somebody, you'll go through a loading zone and essentially like freeze up the game. It takes like a couple seconds, like a microsecond or a second, and it's a huge disconnect. But then again, this game is an old game, you know, and you gotta give it the benefit of the doubt. Like made in 1998 or 1999 or some shit. So using the fan to fly to the ceiling. I got stuck for a minute and was trying to backtrack to see if I missed anything after I broke the wooden planks blocking the air. I got stuck for about 20 minutes. Turned the fan on, no idea what this was gonna do, and backtracked to see if I kind of missed anything. Got stuck for a bit. I didn't have to look anything up, but by chance I decided to jump, because I tried everything, backtrack, tried everything, and I was like, you know what, let me see if I can somehow like jump to the fan and it does something, and I just flew. So that's something I completely missed. Like, can't throw C4 explosive more than 5 feet away. Yeah, like it makes no fucking sense. Like I'm throwing the C4 and I can't even throw it fucking more than 5 feet away. Like I have a fucking crippled hand or some shit. Like I just broke my hand and I could barely fucking throw this shit 3 feet in front of me. Like I'm a fucking cripple. It's ridiculous, man.
Sabotage, maybe? Yeah, maybe. All I know for sure is he's been killing my buddies. Oh yeah, he'll pay. He will definitely pay.
If you pull the pin on the grenade, the moment you throw it, it goes off. Pull the pin and you hold it like you're gonna throw it. You can hold it for as long as you want it, but the moment you throw it, it goes off and kills you instantaneously. So you have a very short window of time to actually throw the grenade. If not, if you just hold it in your hand, you're fucking dead. You're essentially just dead. If you pull the pin of the grenade and you hold it in your hand and you don't throw it and you put it back in your inventory, it's essentially a time bomb. The next time you go back and equip that grenade, you are gonna die. Yeah, the grenade system in this game is kind of fucked. So I didn't know about the shotgun having a secondary powerful shot until I was at the level where you encounter the waterfish monster. Like that gun, I didn't even know had a secondary ability. Like I knew the machine gun did, but I didn't even know the shotgun had a fucking secondary ability, to be honest with you. Rocket launcher took me a second to figure out when you first encounter the helicopter, where after you shoot, you have to guide the missile with your crosshair. It doesn't lock onto the target. It doesn't even go in a straight line. It literally follows your crosshair. So having a little issue with that, where it took me a couple minutes, where I was like, dude, why can't I land these shots with the helicopter? And it turns out you have to guide it with your crosshair. Music by default is way too low. I didn't even know this game had music until the helicopter level. So yeah, the audio in this game is kind of all f***ed. And even trying to readjust it, just still you can't really get it to line up the right way. Music is too low for the most part. I didn't even know this game even had music, man, to be honest with you. The effect audio and the voice audio is tied together, and overall it just peaks too high and the dips are just too low. There's some moments you will hear it all, some moments you won't hear it, and then there's some moments where it'll be just blasting in your fucking ears. So you just have to get accustomed to it. Like I understand like they had their own issues back in 1998 with the audio and shit, but the audio in this game is crazy. When you pick up a claymore, it automatically equips it to your primary weapon, making it very easy for you to fat finger it and die. So if you have an empty slot with your grenades or your claymores, the next time you pick up a claymore after breaking a box, if you so happen to be holding the trigger button down, you'll place the claymore there, or you'll throw the nade there, and you'll essentially die. So you'll go around, you'll be breaking these boxes by pressing the trigger button. You'll hit box after box after box after box, and you'll be picking up things along the way. So you'll pick up a health kit, you pick up some ammo, and then by happen chance, if you pick up a fucking grenade, if you pick up a claymore specifically, it will switch you from whatever weapon you're holding to the claymore, and you will fat finger the claymore, place it down in front of you, and you will kill yourself. Happens all the time. The game does this shit all the fucking time. And I was really annoyed because, you know, you have to hold the fucking trigger button down to break all these boxes, and you're like, you almost instantaneously pick up all these fucking items. So you're literally at the mercy of whatever you pick up, to be honest, if you're gonna die or not. The claymore level in the shed is ridiculous. One missed movement, boom, fucking big explosion. One rat could set this whole place off. Literally one rat could just explode this whole entire place. You have this like government facility or this government fucking shed, and it's like armed to the teeth with explosives, and you have claymores everywhere stacked up on each other. And it's like, yeah, dude, I get it. Like, you want to protect your inventory in this location. Like, this top tier government equipment, but this is fucking crazy, man. Like, if you had one rat misstep, this whole place would go off. Like, it'd be instantaneous death in like a fucking, like at least a goddamn, you know, like a fucking 300-foot radius, dude. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I didn't even know you can use the bazooka underwater. That's something else. During the introduction of the crossbow, you can use a crossbow underwater. And then you try to figure out what guns you can and cannot use underwater. You can use the pistol, you can't use the revolver, you can't use the shotgun, you can't use the machine gun. You can only use the crossbow, the pistol, and for some reason you can use the bazooka. So I didn't know about that until later on as well. Like, out of all the guns, you can use the bazooka as well underwater. So that's pretty crazy. Outer space level, there are these pools of liquid that heal you very slowly. I just found them wasting a lot of time. On the harder difficulty I was having to use them a lot of the time, found myself wasting a lot of time just sitting there healing off of these pools. They could have made it a little faster. They're essential to the game for sure, 100%, because in that area you really don't have much healing to go off of. That is a healing mechanic in that area. I would go AFK there for like a good solid minute to heal. Like 1 HP a fucking second or something, so. The outer space level with organic vents and floating platforms is fucking terrible. Has to be probably one of the worst sections of the whole game, if not the worst section in the whole game, besides the boss in the game. So you're on this rock, you're on this floating rock, and this rock has little holes that have these vents, these organic vents. There's these platforms that are spinning around and cycling in the air. There are some platforms that are really high and there's some platforms that are really low. You see that there's this portal across the level, and it looks like you have to use these platforms that are spinning around to get to that portal to move forward with the game. So you have to jump into these vents and land onto the platform and then use these platforms to move down. You know how in some games where you shoot up in the air, or if you're falling down, you can kind of like move your character mid-air, kind of glide across the air, right? In this game, you really can't do that. It's not prevalent. It's very hard to actually do that. So it's just really annoying to deal with. Dodging one-shots, dodging fireballs and shit. I found myself reloading saves a lot of the time, and if you shoot up too high and you try to land on the lower platforms, right, you'll just die to fall damage, right? So you can't really skip any of it because you have to work your way from the top down. You have to find which vent takes you to the highest platform. You have to jump into that vent at the right time and then jump out of that vent at the right time to land on the top platform. A lot harder than it sounds. And then work from that platform down to the lower platforms, and then you have to jump onto one of the moving ships or one of the organic aliens, or flying aliens, and then ride that thing to the portal and then move forward with the game. That level is fucking terrible, man. Fucking terrible level. The alien weapon has a mind of its own. Sometimes it wants to lock on, sometimes it doesn't. It's also extremely weak. Yeah, the alien weapon. When you end up picking up this alien weapon, it's like from a part of an arm of one of the aliens. You end up picking it up, and the thing is that when these guys have this weapon on them and they're shooting you with these bullets, they're curving every fucking wall, curving every corner, breaking the laws of physics to get to your ass. Like, no joke. Cutting corners, cutting edges, going into tunnels, tracking your ass down like this shit's like the Predator or some shit. It's ridiculous. It's fucking crazy, man, right? So when these guys are shooting you with these weapons, they're landing almost like 80% of their shots, almost guaranteed. And when you end up picking this shit up and you end up using it, 25% of the time you end up shooting them with the actual bullets. The bullets don't do jack shit. They don't seek them down. The bullets have a mind of their own. You end up shooting them sometimes, and then half the bullets follow them, and then the other time you end up shooting them, the bullets don't follow them at all. So the thing is kind of fucking worthless, and it's extremely weak. But the benefit is that it has infinite ammo. You only really use this weapon when you're out of all ammo. But I found it completely fucking worthless, to be honest. Alien level drags on because you can't use stronger weapons besides the alien weapon due to there being no ammo. The middle part of the alien map kind of drags on because of the lack of ammo for your weapons. I found myself having to skip parts of that section of the game because I just was completely out of ammo and I didn't feel like wasting all my time using the weak alien weapon back and forth. A lot of the time in that map, I was having to peek corners, unload the alien weapon as much as I can and not take a lot of damage, and then go back into the healing pool or healing vent, sit there for like a minute, heal up to full because that shit heals you super slow, and then come out, unload the alien weapon as much as I fucking can. Unlimited ammo, right? But you still have to wait for it to recharge. It's just a huge time sink. You unload 8 bullets and then you have to wait a couple seconds for it to recharge. That whole section is a drag. I found myself out of ammo on all the other guns, which are stronger than the alien gun, and I was wasting a lot of time kind of using that shit. It kind of just dragged on for me. Like, I wanted to get that part of the game over. Like, I was just so done with having to peek corners and unload the alien weapon and then go back into the vent and heal and then kind of do it all over again. During the boss fight, I hope I'm taking damage off the boss and I'm playing the fight right. 0 reaction from the boss when you shoot him. Yeah, so this guy, the boss in this game, this probably has to be one of the worst bosses I've ever played against my whole life. There is no UI on your screen showing you how much HP he has. I found myself wasting a lot of time just unloading bullets into him, just kind of hoping, like, if I'm not playing this right. I felt like I just was questioning a lot of what I was even doing in that battle. I was like unloading bullets into him and I was like, dude, what the fuck am I even doing? Like, am I even playing this shit right? And I asked myself that question. I was like, dude, am I even playing this shit right? Because I'm just over here wailing at this dude, and there's zero fucking reaction. He's not flinching. He's just on his normal fucking stroll across the galaxy. There's a small little animation of like a little blood spurt, like a greenish alien blood spurt, but I just was like, man, I don't even know if I'm playing this shit right, to be honest. The thing is, this is a fucking terrible boss battle, man. And I played Turok like 3 months ago from the Nintendo 64. It came out in 1997. It has amazing boss fights. It has good UI. I was never lost during any of those boss fights. In this game, in Half-Life, this boss is fucking dog shit, man. I'm not even sure, as of right now, I'm still not even sure if I even played that boss fight even correctly. I don't even know the right sequence to even beating this guy still. That's the crazy part. I cannot tell you with 100% certainty I know even the correct sequence to be able to beat this boss after having beaten the fucking game and killed this guy. I can only tell you what I did that helped me get to the fucking end, that helped me get to actually killing him, okay? After wailing a bunch of bullets into him and having to dodge his one-shots and getting one-shotted and shit, I started to look around the map because I started questioning what I was even doing. Saw that there was these orange prisms on the side of the walls, right, on the side of the arenas. I ended up shooting them and then being destroyed, right? So I was like, okay, I guess this is what I have to do to move forward with this boss. And he doesn't flinch. I don't even know if that was even the right thing to do at all, because this fucker has zero reaction to that shit. Like I just taking off like some fucking barnacles off of his goddamn ship or something. He had no reaction to that shit at all. So after I broke those prisms on the wall, the orange prisms on the wall, I started to move through his portals. Like he shot a couple portals at me and I had to go through them. Or he was always shooting portals. I was going through the portals that he was shooting at me, going through those jump quests, moving forward to those jump quests. And then after I went through those jump quests like 2 or 3 times, and I was still wailing at him at the time, which I still don't even know if that's the correct thing to do. And then once I got him to open up his head, I saw that his head kind of opened up and there was this portal in his head. Right, so I was like, maybe I need to use one of these jump pads, jump all the way up, and then go inside of the portal in his head, and then maybe I can kill him inside of him or something, you know? I don't know. That was my plan. I got up above him, and I couldn't quite angle myself like to actually get inside of it, so I ended up shooting his head, and that's what killed him. If you were to tell me, Ray, how do I kill this guy? I'd be like, look, man, all I know is that you gotta shoot the prisms, go through his portals, and see if you can get his head open. Whenever his head opens, you can see his portal in his head, shoot his head. Use the pad to jump up and shoot his head. That's all I can tell you, man. I don't know if you even need to go through all that bullshit those jump quests. I don't even know if you need to even go through those portals, if it's necessary, or if you need to destroy the prisms only. But all I know is that once he opens his head and you can shoot his head, that's what you gotta do. Yeah, this probably has been one of the worst boss fights I've ever played in a popular game. It just has to do with the lack of UI, you know, the game communicating to you, like, if you're even playing it the right way, because you can find yourself wasting a good solid 10 minutes just wailing at this dude with bullets. You see the little animation of the fucking blood spurt, but the thing is, you don't know if you're even playing it the right way. Like, if this guy's a fucking massive tank, or if you need to do, like, some form of sequence to actually kill him, right? The lack of UI that communicates to you if you're taking damage off this guy is the reason why this boss is fucking terrible, man. The fucking auto aim in this game is fucking crazy. The snipes, the alien with the eyeball and shoots the laser beam with the Kamehameha. That dude, he'll one-shot you, man. He'll straight kill you, straight one-shot you, and that dude does not mess around. If you cut a corner and you see him charging that bullshit, and you're in the open, if you try jumping, you're not gonna avoid it. You try doing anything, you're dead. That dude, he is gonna land that shot because it's like an auto aim. This dude is hacking on your ass. So the moment you see him charge that shit, you need to get out of his line of sight or you will die. You cut a corner, you see that dude charging, you have probably a quarter of a second, no joke, to cut that corner backtrack to that fucking corner so you can get out of his line of sight and live, okay, man? Because that dude does not f around, man. That dude is probably responsible, probably like to 70% of my deaths in this game. And you see him very early on. And I was playing on the harder difficulty, and this dude does not f around. That aim is no joke. That dude will snipe your ass. He's probably the strongest f***er to play against. The alien with the homing bugs and the tracking bullets, he's really not that big of a problem because the bullets don't take a lot of damage. Even though they can cut corners and kind of get annoying, they're just pestering. They're really not that strong. And
And the same thing with, I think the boss too sniped my ass a couple times. The last boss in the game, he ended up sniping me a couple times. I like the UI. Everything is laid out. It's all clear and simple. I really like the color scheme. It's like a light orange. There's a flashlight icon. All the ammo is laid out. Everything that you need to know in the game is laid out in front of you. So they did a really good job on the UI for the most part. And when I first started to play Half-Life, I like the little interaction that you have with the scientist and the security guard. If you end up touching this little keyboard and monitor here, it ends up sparking a reaction from a scientist. He ends up talking to you about it. Neat little interaction.
Away from there, Freeman. I'm expecting an important message. I wonder if I should run that test again.
If you interact with the security guard in the very beginning, if you end up messing with the security guard's computer, it ends up setting off an alarm. I thought that was a little neat interaction as well.
My God, what are you doing?
Come on, Gordon. You trying to get me into trouble?
The guy in the suit that acts anonymous and mysterious, he's interesting to the game. I really like his dynamic. He's always around the corners, and you end up seeing him across the whole game. You're always asking yourself this question, like, oh, who the hell is that? What is he doing? And, you know, you're always thinking, like, oh, this guy's probably the reason why everything is happening the way it's happening, and why the experiment failed, and you piece it together yourself. But I really like the element that he put into the game. He really added that extra flair to the game where, like, it's mysterious. It's kind of like Illuminati-esque. Ominous, you know, all the interactions where you see him through a door and he's like fixing his tie and you'll see him walk out. They did an amazing job with incorporating this guy into the game. You know, inevitably you'll find him at the end of the game and he ends up talking to you and if you want to do this deal or not. I feel like this guy kind of carried the game, to be honest. I feel like he's like the hidden star in the game. He's the guy that kind of makes this game a good game. The skull inside of the alien infested human. Yeah, I like how they added the skull, the outline of a skull on the aliens that stand up. They look really creepy. I feel like this game has a lot of variety with the weapons. I always found myself shuffling through all the weapons because of the ammo. I ended up using all the weapons for the most part. They paced the gaming structure in a pretty good way where you kind of have to shuffle through all the weapons. There are a couple weapons that kind of, you know, completely lackluster and they kind of have like really no reason to even exist. Like the first pistol, like only for if you want to conserve ammo would you really use it, and besides it being like given to you in the very beginning, it really serves no purpose really outside of the introduction of the game. I found myself very rarely using this weapon unless I was very constricted of using ammo. The shotgun is extremely weak. I found myself in situations where I'd be shooting these people straight in the face, point blank range with the secondary shot, and they just would survive it like it meant nothing. But that's probably because I was playing on the harder difficulty. Yeah, this probably has to be one of the weakest shotguns I've ever played with in a game. So yeah, the crowbar, we really only use this to break boxes. To actually use it as a melee weapon, to kill anything besides the baby aliens, is kind of meaningless and pointless. Very weak weapon. The hit range is kind of low as well. They should have extended the hit range maybe a little bit just so that it'd be a little easier to hit things. The revolver, the Magnum, my favorite gun in the game. Busted, snipes, takes a shitload of damage. It's a badass gun. Yeah, they did a good job with the energy weapons in the game. They give you 2 energy weapons in the game. I really couldn't distinguish which one was stronger out of the 2. The first one seemed to have more range, and the second one felt like it was just like an automatic, like a machine gun type of energy weapon. I liked using the energy weapons. They felt really strong. The crossbow felt pretty strong as well. I very rarely used the snark, but I thought it was a creative idea to have that enemy for you to have as a grenade. I liked that direction. That felt like a good direction for the game. I really never used them. Very rarely used them. I think I had like used them once. I like the idea. The implementation of it is kind of really couldn't find a really good way to use them. It felt gimmicky in a way. I really like that. The idea is going somewhere. You know what I mean? The squid. After you turn on the engine to destroy the tentacle monster and you end up going down in the water where he was at, you end up seeing his corpse and you get to see the face behind the tentacles. So I like that. They didn't have to do that. I do like that they put that alien inside of the game. You got to see the actual alien behind the tentacles. I really like that. You can see that he's kind of still alive and moving a bit. The misspelling of "you're dead, Freeman." I thought that was funny that they put that in. I'm not quite sure if that was an error on purpose or unintentional, but I thought that was kind of funny to have that put into the game. And all the other like spellings as well, like surrender Freeman. It really added to the element of you being like chased down by the military or chased down by the mysterious guy. So I really like those all the graffiti in the game kind of like taunting you, you know? Yeah, it really added a good like fire to the game. Like, oh, you're being hunted down. This little section here where the guy's like yelling, I thought that was funny, where the guy was like, was running away from gunfire and he ended up saying, oh, hi, Freeman.
Hey, Mr. Freeman.
I thought that was a funny little scene. One of the key scenes that I really liked in this game that kind of stuck with me is when you first saw the alien ship. When I first saw the alien ship, it kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't really expecting to see an alien ship, to be honest, in this game. When I ended up seeing that alien ship for the first time, I was actually kind of impressed. I was like, oh, you know what, man, this is pretty cool looking. It adds a good element to the game. It really spices up the game too. You end up talking to this scientist and he's like trying to hide and get away from the gunfire, and he just has a heart attack. That's kind of funny. This is another scene where you have like a scientist holding onto a ladder in an elevator shaft. He's just like, he ends up falling to his demise. Like, I would help this guy if we could help him. I would have helped him, but so I thought that was a pretty cool scene, to be honest. Like, these little scenes here, I really do like. It adds to the world building of the game. You really do feel like, oh, these scientists are being hunted down and this place is like falling apart and it's all chaotic. I really like these scenes. A soldier getting dragged. So this is another cool scene that I like. You end up seeing this like soldier get dragged into a wall by an alien. If you end up shooting the alien, the soldier, he just instantaneously turns on you. I still think it's kind of cool to have that little scene of the alien kind of dragging off the soldier. I really like the design for the boss's lair. Like, I don't like the map where the boss is located at. The intersection of the boss's arena is pretty bad, but the outside, the entrance to the boss's arena, the red glowing crown or red star in the middle of the crown, I thought that was really cool looking. It's super dark too. You had to jump on these rocks to get to the boss's lair, the entrance to the lair, and I thought it was just really cool looking. I feel kind of disappointed that they didn't really go into that direction. They could have like sparked off of this idea. They could have done some more with this idea right here. They could have worked with the entrance of the lair a little bit more and kind of branch off of that, using that style instead of using the style they chose to, because I felt like the style was just kind of like don't get me wrong, it was very nightmarish. I do like that aspect of the boss's lair. It looks very nightmarish. It looks like a fever dream, but something really stuck out with just the boss's entrance. The entrance to the lair was very cool looking. It looked really badass. And I feel kind of disappointed that they didn't work with it a little bit more. Alright, blue shift. Moving towards blue shift. These following sections are probably going to be a little shorter. When you move the lever for the crane, it goes extremely slow. Yeah, a lot of these levers in this game kind of move extremely slow, and you have to hold down the button or the key to actually move it the whole way. It's not automatic. Like, if you end up clicking it once, it's not going to move all the way automatically. You have to hold the button down to move it the whole way, and a lot of these levers move extremely slow. The most of the time when I've ended up seeing these levers, I end up touching it once and seeing if it had a reaction to anything, but you need to hold down the key to the lever, the activation key, to actually move it through the whole cycle, right? The thing is that this lever here moves so damn slow. Like, is this even necessary? That's the thing. It's like, is this shit right here even fucking necessary? Does the lever need to move that slow? Like, the levers in this game move extremely slow for no apparent fucking reason. You kind of have to sit there, hold the button down to see it actually move. I can see somebody missing this shit completely. Like, I found myself missing a lever the first game because I just didn't know the lever was moving the right way. I thought it was like kind of locked out because I needed to hit a button or something, but I just needed to hold the lever down. Boxes sliding over the place. The boxes in this game, if you end up just pressing your key or something to the box, it will end up flying across the map and doing all these crazy shit. Boxes have a mind of their own. You have to hold down the key to hold onto the box. If not, if you just go to the box and press E, you'll just end up kicking the box across the screen. So the boxes have a mind of their own sometimes. End up gliding across the screen. The game has some moments where it just stalls out a bit. Things that are just a little too well hidden, like ladders for progress. And I found myself going in circles in this section of the game because I just didn't know how to progress. I ended up turning all these valves to turn off the steam and kind of progress to the map. And I didn't know what to do. This elevator in the water wasn't working, and I was just like, okay, well, I can't access this elevator yet. How is this not working, right? And I ended up just going in circles, not knowing where to fucking go. Turned out there was this ladder that was really well hidden at the corner of a bridge. Yeah, I completely missed that. I was going in circles fucking for at least 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure it out, and I just couldn't get it to fucking, didn't know what to do. When taking a break and reloading a save, the audio quality really hits, with it being overly loud at some points and too soft at others. But this game is just a product of its time, being made back in 1998, so it's understandable. Yeah, audio in this game's all fucked, man. Talked about this shit before. It's all fucking fucked, man. And it's too loud, with other parts of the game being too low. It's just bad, man. And the quality's bad too, so it's just whatever. Having to 1v1 these aliens with just a crowbar. Let me see. Second video, 1 hour. Oh yeah, that shit. Yeah, I remember that shit. The part of the game where I didn't have any ammo at all, and I was solely relying on the crowbar. And I'm playing this on the hardest difficulty, you know. Everything probably takes a lot more damage, and everything probably is just a lot tankier. And there was a part where I was, completely out of ammo and had 1v1 the one-eyed lightning aliens, and that shit was crazy, man. Had to dodge and weave all their attacks, had to backstep at the right moments, and had to really fuck with their AI, really fuck with their the way they were hitting to get those shots in. I got stuck here for a bit, but I ended up moving past it with some luck. Yeah, I had to solely rely on the crowbar to actually get through this. I was kind of scared that I was going to get stuck, but I somehow got through by dodging and weaving and avoiding the attacks and getting those crowbar attacks in. Had to just reload a bunch of saves and just constantly try over and over again. Yeah, I somehow, by the grace of God, lived an explosion from a barrel, and it killed another alien that spawned. No idea how that even happened, since I was already low HP, but by the fucking grace of God, I somehow survived, because I was 1v1ing these aliens, and it was a struggle, man, a straight up struggle. As I killed this alien that I thought it was going to be the last alien I had to kill, another alien spawned. And at that moment, I was swinging, and I hit a barrel, and by the grace of God, the barrel didn't fucking kill me. I don't know how, because in this game, man, these explosions will kill you across the room, man. It's crazy, dude. Like, these explosions will kill you across the room. Like, the damaging radius of these explosions is crazy, man. The explosion ended up killing the alien and didn't kill me. I guess he body blocked for me, sacrificed his life for me to live. Somehow I got lucky and I kind of moved forward. These fucking deaths because of explosions. Oh yeah, the radius of the explosion damage. Yeah, this shit makes no sense. Yeah, the damage from these explosions are kind of crazy. Some explosions will kill you a mile away, and the other ones won't. You know, you see me throwing the grenades at the tank, and the grenades exploding in front of me. But once the tank explodes, I fucking die. It's ridiculous, man. It's fucking crazy. Doctor decided to walk all the way back. Yeah, there was something else that was kind of funny. Once you get into the office section, he ends up following this scripted path. He can't be interrupted, and he would have to go through the whole office section, which is quite long, and go to the other side. By any chance, if you kind of backtrack a little bit, you'll end up starting the scripted path again, and then he'll have to go through the whole office again until you can get him back to where you need to get him to. It was kind of stupid. Him just having to follow the whole path, having to wait for him to fucking finish it. It's kind of dumb. I got bugged at the alien level on the platform near the water, between the water and the island, the crevice of the island. I got fucking bugged. Alright, what I liked about Blue Shift. Blue Shift just adds a little bit more to the world. It's kind of alright. The security guard's name that you play as is Cahoon. It's a kind of funny and unique name that everybody kind of repeats over and over again. Since the name is so unique and I've never heard it outside of this game, I found it adding a good flair of comedy to the game since it was being repeated over and over again. I really do like the name Cahoon though. I thought it was a really unique, cool name.
Here you go, Calhoun.
The donut scene, I thought that was kind of a funny scene where you see like the sheriff or you see like this officer kind of like struggling to eat a donut in the firing range. He's kind of like having to go back and forth between choosing to eat a donut or actually shoot his gun. I thought that was kind of funny. Both the intro and ending are kind of interesting. The intro lets you see how the security guards operate and how the main game played out from the security guard's perspective. The ending, you get to see Freeman dragged away by a couple of military soldiers. Then you get teleported back to talk to the main scientist. The ending is a little lackluster, but I guess it's understandable since you're playing as a security guard. I feel like Blue Shift's ending was kind of the weaker out of the three endings. Opposing Forces. The intro to Opposing Forces is fucking amazing, to be honest with you. I actually think I liked Opposing Forces probably more than Half-Life. the main game. Yeah, I just felt like that game had way better like story building elements, and I felt more connected to the world playing as a soldier, to be honest. The training was really good. I really loved the training. Like I said, that training introduction that when you're playing the soldier, really good, really strong. Probably one of the most enjoyable parts of this whole game. I don't say that very often. Like, that training section was really good, really well done. The night vision is bright as hell and blinding. Yes, that is completely true. They went a little too overboard with the night vision in opposing forces because there's no flashlight. Instead of a flashlight, you end up using your night vision. It's just way too strong. They should have just toned it down, man. A lot of the time, I was trying to not even use it because it was just too damn blinding. They give you both a wrench and a knife. That's something I didn't really understand, is the devs decided to give you both a wrench and a knife. So they give you a wrench in the very beginning, but then you end up finding a knife. The thing is that they both take the same exact damage, except the knife is faster. So like, why would you give us a wrench and a knife at the same time when the knife is superior in every way? It takes the same damage, but it just hits a lot quicker. The wrench just gets in the way. You have to click the one key twice to get to the knife and having to skip the wrench. It's just a little annoyance. Like, it's kind of unnecessary to give us two melee weapons with one clear winner, you know? I got bugged in the elevator. There's this little lift at the corner of the elevator. I got bugged. So, you know, that's always a good thing, you know? Getting bugged in the elevator. Railing beam in the middle of the cart. As you're going through the cart and you traversing the intersections of the game, intersection of the map, in the middle of the cart there's this like railing. It's just a clipping issue, you know. Candy bar security guard keeps killing me with the deagle with one shot. So yeah, this security guard you end up finding had him follow me around. I kept him around as long as I could because he was just destroying everything in front of me. Destroying everything, including me. He would fucking backshot me and just instantaneously kill me. The dude's that strong. Yeah, the friendly fire on that guy. This dude has no chill. Like, if you're standing in front of him, he's gonna one-shot you in the back. Dude's strong as hell. Picked up the bazooka, shot myself. I guess the thing is, the point of it is that this game has a problem with you. When you pick up a weapon that you don't have in your inventory, it's gonna re-equip that weapon for you as your primary. And chances are, you're gonna be holding down the trigger button. You're gonna be damaging yourself, or you'll just end up killing yourself. I got bugged again on the elevator. If you're using one of these elevators to go up or down, and if you hug one of the edges of the elevator, you'll just get bugged. Sometimes you can get out of it, sometimes you can't, and you have to reload it to save. But I've noticed that was a bug in the game where if an elevator is moving up or down, and you hold on to the edge of the wall, or if you hug the wall, you'll get bugged at the edge of the elevator and you can't move. I got hard bugged at 3 hours and 10 minutes. Oh yeah, there was this instance where I got hard bugged in the vent. So in the main story, you have to go down this vent to progress through the game. And the thing is that this vent is bugged. Like, there's a collider, like an invisible wall that's preventing you from moving down this vent. You're mid-sliding to this vent, so you can't jump and you can't crouch. I just kept on reloading saves and kept on trying to go down the vent, and I couldn't progress. But luckily I found a way to get over it where before sliding down, I jump crouched and I got over the invisible wall. Yeah, luckily I found the way. I got hard locked. Like, I could not progress at all. Like, this is something that like prevented me from moving forward in the actual main story. And the only way I got through was that before sliding down the vent, I jumped crouch and it got me over the wall somehow. So I don't know, but I got hard locked there. The worm is an eagle? Question mark, question mark. Oh yeah, the sound that the worm makes. First time I heard it, I was dying laughing because it sounds like a bird. And I was like, what in the hell am I playing against, bro? Am I at the beach right now? What the fuck's going on? Like, am I the only one? But does that worm not sound like an eagle or like a bird or something? Are these pigs at 3 hours and 50 minutes? Those dudes that are crawling, let me hear them. Oh yeah, that's 100% a pig, bro. They use the pig audio for that alien 100%. Has to be pigs, right? Like, no joke. Are these not pigs, man? I got bugged at 4 hours and 36 minutes. Oh, this is just another elevator bug. Yeah, at 4 hours, I got just locked to the edge of an elevator again. The main problem with these boss battles is they're just really bad boss battles, man, to be honest. So you're kind of just like lost looking around trying to figure out what you're just trying to do. And just shooting a bunch of bullets into the boss. Yeah, I happened to have to look up if I was even playing against this boss the right way, because I was unloading into him for about 10 minutes and there was just like zero reaction from him. Even after shooting him in the stomach a couple times. The thing is that the game doesn't have a health bar showing you if you're taking damage off the boss, so you really can't tell if you're playing the fight right. You just end up shooting him and you just end up seeing gushes of blood come out of him. So you really don't know if you're playing it the right way or not. And you don't know if he's just like a huge damage sponge or just a sequence boss. And it turns out that this boss was just a sequence boss. You have to shoot him in the eyes with the laser beam cannon. And then once you shoot him with the eyes on both sides, you have to shoot him in the middle of the stomach. You do that 4 or 5 times and eventually you beat the boss, right? You end up using the grappling alien gun to get over the gap after he breaks the bridge. I feel like this boss battle was a little lackluster. I'm not a big fan of this game's bosses, to be honest. It's just a lack of UI, lack of communication between the game. Like I'm saying, like you don't know if this guy's a damage sponge or if he's a sequence boss. I like how you have to rely on some soldiers to help you out throughout the game. I like the soldier that cuts through the metal doors. I thought he was a kind of a unique character. Or the medical soldier as well that can heal you. That was something else in the main game too, like where the scientist could heal you as well. I thought that was pretty neat they added into the game. The weapons and the uniqueness of the weapons. So in Opposing Forces they added a couple new weapons to the game. They added the Deagle, my favorite gun in the whole game. You know, just snipes, takes just shoulder damage. It's very similar to the revolver. Instead of the revolver in Opposing Forces, you get a Desert Eagle. You get a sniper rifle as well. Takes a lot of damage. And yeah, instead of getting the crossbow, you got the sniper rifle instead. You get this like huge machine gun, just tears things up. Really busted. One of my favorite guns. You get this like shock roach as well. It's just one of the aliens end up dropping it. It's very similar to the other alien weapon in Half-Life 1. Like an infinite amount of ammo and can just shoot it over and over again and it recharges very slowly. It felt a little stronger than the other alien weapon that you get in the first Half-Life. I didn't really end up using the shock roaches that much because it was just kind of, it was one of the more weaker weapons in the game. The spore launcher, you kind of get this later in the game. Very strong gun. It's like the greenish alien gun. Takes a lot of damage. Just explodes things, and yeah, this weapon is pretty badass to use. It's like some form of alien gun that you get, and it just takes a lot of damage. It adds a very good flair to the game. Then they added this this portal gun. It's like an energy weapon as well. Pretty strong weapon. You just charge up like a big portal shot, and then you can just teleport the enemy to the alien level, I guess. You just teleport them out of the map, and they just essentially go away. It was a pretty cool weapon. I liked it a lot. I used it whenever there was an enemy in my way that I didn't feel like just blasting, and you know what, man, let me just delete this guy real quick. So, you know, you bust the weapon out and you shoot him once, and then just kind of like teleport away. You can't do it to like any of the big bosses. You can only do it to like normal enemies in the game. The Opposing Forces did a really good job on the new weapons they added to the game. Assassins. I like how they added the assassins into the game. They added a good flair of combat. They're kind of fun to play against because they can go invisible and move extremely fast. So they always keep you on your toes, and you're just kind of like blasting around, searching for them, always kind of looking over the shoulder. So I really like that aspect. They added a good dynamic to the combat in the game. It didn't feel one-dimensional. I felt like there was layers to the combat, and I really liked that. So you're not fighting any of the soldiers anymore. You're still fighting Black Ops though, so that's something else. You're still fighting the assassins, because the military, for some fucking reason, turned the Black Ops on the fucking soldiers. Like, so the thing is that the scientists that are working in the facility, the scientists are working on this project, and the security guards are there to protect the scientists. The experiment, this is all funded by the military. The experiment goes haywire, and then next thing you know, there's portals opening up all across the game. So this experiment has led to a tear in the dimension. So it opens up like multiple portals, or just allows like a bunch of aliens to kind of just teleport into our world. Then the military comes in, and the military, at first everyone thinks the military is here just to kill the aliens. Turns out nope, the military is not here to clear out the aliens. They're here to fucking clean the whole facility. They're here to kill everybody. The government has funded the testing to go down in this place. This whole entire experiment is funded by the government. And then once it goes haywire and everything shits the bed, the government turns loose the military on the whole entire place, and it catches everybody off guard. Turns out when you're playing in Opposing Forces, you figure out that you got backstabbed by the Black Ops. So it's kind of like a fucking massive stab in the back after stab in the back. So yeah, what's his name? Fucking G-Man, the mysterious guy. That dude's running the whole show, man. Essentially, he's running the whole damn show because the whole facility's getting wiped by aliens, and then the soldiers have to come in and then wipe all the aliens and the scientists and the security guards. And it turns out the fucking military is being wiped by the Black Ops. So that was pretty badass. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really like that type of shit right there. Like, just backstab after backstab. That was a pretty badass kind of like arc, man. I'm not gonna lie. They added a couple new enemies to the game. These aliens that shoot at you. These aliens with the shock weapon, and they have like an eye. They're shooting like this like roach at you. When you end up killing this alien, they end up dropping their gun, and the gun kind of like lunges at you, and after he dies, you have to kill his little roach on the ground. And then they have like these other aliens that kind of hop around by 2 feet, and then the pig aliens. And they have like some buffed out version of one of the humans that got infected. The aliens in this game are not that bad. This is not a bad game. This is an alright game. Like, I had a fun time playing this game. Opposing Forces just feels like a better game. The level design is great. The transitions between maps and enemies are well done. I really did enjoy this game more than Half-Life 1, especially the level transitions and the scenes they had us play. The maps and the enemies felt really immersive and interesting to play. I felt more intrigued and put into the game like I was watching a well-paced movie. I like Opposing Forces more than Half-Life 1. I like Opposing Forces more than Blue Shift. Yeah, they did a good job in this game, man. This was a fun game. Different perspectives. I like how Valve took the approach of allowing us to play different perspectives of the main game. It added to the fullness of the world. Even though the story is still just shaded in mystery, it makes the game feel unique and segmented in a way where I was comparing all the games with each other and finding the similarities between them. Playing as a security guard and a military soldier was very satisfying and enjoyable. Alright, if you watched the whole video, or if you watched this far, thank you. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys feel the same way about any of this? Are there some points you disagree with, some points you agree with, or did you find any of this to be funny? If so, put it all down in the comments. If you want to just go off on a rant, if you want to just go off on the comments, just go right ahead. But tell me what you guys think. Do you guys agree with some points? Do you guys disagree with some points? I could have went a little deeper in this video. I do like Half-Life, okay? It was a good game, okay? I know it's a dated game. I know it's an old game. It's just that these are my opinions on the game. This is just me kind of like picking at wounds, you know? This is just me kind of picking at the experience. In no way really is Half-Life a bad game. It's an alright game. I enjoyed the experience. If there's any points you agree with or disagree with, put it down in the comments. Go off. If you want to go off, just go off. I know that some of these points are kind of like kind of small and kind of picky, but I'm just trying to get it all out there. You know, I'm trying to just express everything I kind of felt with the game. Because no one really talks about all the small things. No one talks about these problems with these games. Everyone kind of just glazes over everything. And you're kind of just given only the positive sides to a lot of these games. I feel like that's kind of the main flaw with everybody right now. Everyone just kind of, if the game is just somewhat decently good, or if it's an old game, everyone just kind of just glazes it. Everyone just kind of just puts it on this pedestal and just only talk good about the game. When the game has a lot of flaws. You know, all these games have a lot of flaws. But thank you if you watched the whole video. And like and subscribe if you liked the video. And yeah, thank you.